Hey guys, this is just a brief video from lessons learned from trying to make a review video, or how not to make a review video. Man, I had the best of intentions when I was doing my Quest bar unboxing, and I really wanted to make one long video covering all 12 bars. Didn't have any idea how long it was going to take me to create the video, but I figured it would be less than an hour. It actually wound up being just a hair over an hour, like an hour and a couple minutes after all the editing was done. But the thing to take away from this was know your equipment and what its limitations are. I had set up my camera for 24 megabits at 30 frames a second and basically came out with a 16 gigabit file size. And if you're not used to working with files that big, that is a big file. Editing it was a humongous pain because it kept crashing my computer. My basic Windows setup is I have had a dual core laptop with 3 gigs of RAM running Windows 7 32-bit, which turned out to be not near enough processing power for handling the size of the video file size. Handling the size of the video file size. Handling the size of the video file. And my video editing software is Camtasia. It works very, very well for what I wanted to do. And really all I use it for is to keep the 1080p resolution and to allow me to chop up the video and cut out the bloopers and stuff I don't want you guys to see because I'm being stupid. So I should have done a brief test before instead of just jumping into recording this video, or recording the review video. It would have saved me literally 40 to 60 hours of effort, because I would have found out really early on that my computer could not handle the video file size. Anything over 1 gigabit in size would pretty much crash my computer. I would start the video processing on the 16 gig file size, walk away for 3 or 4 hours, come back to find out that my computer had crashed and burned. I wound up taking my file to work where they have much more up-to-date computers, and they're running Windows 7 64-bit. Most of them have 8 gigs of RAM, and they're running either a 4-core or an 8-core chipset processor. Chipset processor. Yeah, processor. 8-core processor. It's i7 processors that work. They do a lot of CAD design. So if you're working with huge file sizes, even though Camtasia is a great program, the hardware just couldn't process the video at home for me. So even though I had a really powerful video processing program in Camtasia, my hardware just could not keep up with the demands. And I wound up buying a new Dell XPS computer with a 8-core processor. It's an i7 processor. 32 gigs of RAM, which is really, really overkill, but this was a special deal. It was a open box return that someone had sent back to Dell without ever actually turning the computer on, or at least not doing anything with the computer. They did a factory reset on it, checked it out, and resold it. Basically, I got it for about $600 to $700 cheaper than a brand new system that I'd spec'd out. The only drawback is it's running Windows 8.1, and I'm familiar with Windows 7. 8.1 had a pretty big learning curve to figure out where everything is, how to get to the programs. The Windows 8 interface is completely different from the Windows 7 interface, and I'm still learning days and days later, learning how to do certain things, get the folders laid out the way I had it on my old Windows 7, and just making it more user friendly for me. So I'm still not a Windows 8 fan. I'm looking forward to upgrading to Windows 10 whenever it finally comes out. But the main thing to take away from all this was, don't do like I did. Do some tests ahead of time. Be familiar with your equipment limitations, hardware and software. I didn't plan ahead when I made my video. I just kind of jumped right into it. I figured, what's the worst that can happen? And the worst happened. I spent 60 hours editing this video that was only an hour long. It took me 2 weeks to get it up and posted. And when I wanted to break it up into shorter videos where each quest bar was in its own little segment. I basically wound up butchering the video so that it doesn't flow as smoothly as I would like it to. It doesn't look as polished and professional as I would have liked it to. But it was a learning experience. If you want to see how not to make review videos, watch the individual quest bar videos I made. If you want to see a little bit better version of it, try watching part of the 1 hour video I made. That's the way I wanted it to come out with, or that's the way I wanted it to come out the first time. It worked out very nice, and all the clips flow together pretty well. So next time, be more planning on my part. Upgraded machine, great editing software. I reset my camera to factory defaults because I never could get the color just quite right. I kept tweaking and tweaking and tweaking, and finally the settings were so messed up I couldn't figure out what I'd done to it. So don't get too complex in your tweaks and settings on your cameras either. And hopefully you've gotten a little bit out of this. If you plan on making any review videos, and I need speaking lessons too. Hopefully when I get a few more hours of video recording under my belt, the words will flow more smoothly, and I won't be making mistakes and doing stuff like this where I pause between the words trying to think of what I'm going to say next and try to get it in the right order. So that's it for now.